Welcome to your Taurus horoscopes for the week of the 14th through the 20th. And we are officially entering Taurus season this week, which is a really exciting time for Tauruses to celebrate themselves, right? And we have a lot going on around that happening, actually. It's a very interesting transition into Taurus. We're still in a Mercury retrograde, which is still in Aries. We're actually in the last week of the last full week of Mercury being retrograde. The retrograde does end next week, so that's continuing to bring some challenges there as it has a way of doing that. Jupiter and Uranus, let's talk about them for a minute. It's in such a perfect and wonderful position. They're moving into conjunction with each other, so they're really working together, creating these out of the box ideas, expanding on those ideas, and really focusing on building the support system you need for those ideas. And it's very magical because as they're doing this together, they're also lining up in a sextile with Saturn and Mars. And Saturn and Mars, a little bit of Neptune in there as well, all focused on long-term goals. So we're really building on the next big thing here. It's a lot of where your focus is in terms of, any long-term goals, your financial goals, your career goals. The sky is the limit. It's actually a really big thing for fixed signs, though. Fixed signs tend to really not like change. And Uranus, even though it's the ruling planet of a fixed sign, it's all about blowing it up so that we can change it because we're bored with it or tired of it. And so it's kind of a very interesting place to be and can be a really scary place too. And I feel like a lot of times fixed signs have a tendency to talk themselves out of things because they mentally project what they're doing, how they're doing that, and what the outcome is. And it's really the outcome that they focus all that energy on, the fear of what's going to happen when you actually reach this success and just how much it's going to change and how scary that change might be. And then that we use to kind of talk ourselves out of moving forward. It's a ridiculous thing, of course, but it's something that every human being does. And I think the fixed signs specifically just make an art of it. But in this tranquil little world of Jupiter and Uranus working together and really focusing some energy on your long-term goals and gathering up the support for that, and things have been really nice, the sun starts to come towards Taurus at about Tuesday, Wednesday, and the sun is coming into Taurus on Thursday, officially bringing a challenge with him because he is coming into Taurus in a square with Pluto. And the sun's focus is very much on career right now. Pluto is on relationships. It's that quintessential challenge between being pulled towards achieving your career goals, but also feeling you're being pulled away from your personal relationships, or possibly one of those personal relationships is having trouble with you being pulled away. So it creates a bit of a complication there. So here you're trucking along, you have all of this support, and then this stupid little issue comes in, and it really can be translated in many different ways. Either it's the normal thing that we go to, which is challenges with our spouses, but also our children, our parents, our siblings, our friends. I mean, who hasn't been in the situation? I feel like I live actually in the situation where my own um specific goals towards my success in my career are really taking away from most of my personal relationships. I have very little time for any of them. And it does feel terrible. And One of the things that I try really hard to be aware of is that I try to rotate time as much as I can. And in many cases, there's just so many of them that somebody always feels left out. But I do try to rotate my time with the people that are important to me as much as I possibly can. That being said, I fall short a lot. And that is a big fear, I think, for most people in terms of wanting to be successful, because it does feel like it could very easily engulf and take over your entire life. And when that happens, there's just no time for anybody else. And I can see, of course, and have been in the position of having to deal with people in my life who are not too happy about the fact that I don't have as much time with them. So it's an uncomfortable thing, but at the same time, it's up to you to put some boundaries on your career and to try and make time with these people and make sure that the time that you do have with them is time of value. I think that's really the most important thing, is that you really take the time to appreciate and enjoy each other rather than just be in each other's company, if that makes sense. As we get into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there is a bit of a challenge as the moon moves into a square with first Mercury, and then the next day moves into a square with the sun. And Mercury is not so much a problem necessarily. It's that square with the sun because it adds another little bit of a challenge, specifically around past issues, or we'll say triggers, insecurity triggers of not being supported. Or this actually could come up as having an emotional trigger and just feeling like you have no one to support you there, which again happens for a lot of people as well. I mean, my triggers never happen in the right time when the perfect person to support me is there either. And there's always those instances where you try to kind of reach for the people around you and they're just not there. They're not in the mood. They're not in the zone. They don't have time for you. They're not getting it. They don't understand, which is also a challenge. Luckily, this is a little one that's going to last for about a day, and then you're going to kind of just move on with your life like we do, right? So lots of stuff going on for you guys this week, but of course, absolutely nothing that you can't handle because you guys are super badass. Do yourself one favor, and that is stay out of your head as much as possible. The more you think about everything that's going on and the more you try to mentally project what the success is going to be, the more opportunities you have to talk yourself out of doing it. And that is the number one thing that gets in people's way. It's not anybody else, it's us and our own minds. So keep that in mind, guys. I'm Melissa Bruce, Heavy Metal Psychic. I will see you guys next week. In the meantime, you guys make it a great week. I'll see you next week.